Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from TiltShift. This conversation was recorded on January 14th, 2023, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of Kadena Ecosystem directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. Today we are talking with TiltShift. He is a very cool artist that's been around in the Kadena Ecosystem for a little bit now and has released some very cool projects. So we're going to be learning more about you. I like to start off with just a quick introduction about yourself, and then I like to find out what got you into crypto in general in the first place, as I find some people have some really cool stories to tell. So take it away.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is John, and I'm running the TiltShift NFT here, and I'm an artist. And then I got my sidekick here also, Ola Biro, where we started. The crypto story is quite funny. It started about 2.5 years ago, and I had a dream that I should invest in something called Kuro, and I didn't know what the hell Kuro was, but I thought it had to be something about crypto, because I had heard somewhere this Kuro is a sort of underlying layer on a crypto chain then. And then I come in contact with a friend of mine that was running crypto. And he said, hello, you should try out this mining thing about crypto. And I like, no, it's dangerous. I have just heard bad things about Bitcoin and scams and all stuff like that. But then I come across something called Gold Shell, and I searched a little about that mining machines, and then I found out that the Kadena, or it should say the KDA machine, and I read about the Kadena project on their website, and then I found out they had something said Kuro, and then I was referring back to the dream I had about Kuro, and I understood that, okay, this is what I had to invest in. So I bought a couple of machines and ran them for a while, and now they are shut down. I made some money about that, and I started learning about the ecosystem and more about Kadena and what it's all about, and the 20 chains, how they have upgraded the chains, like braid chains. And I thought, hey, start learning what POS, and POW was, proof of stake and proof of work. And I thought this is really interesting. And then I understood why Bitcoin was so slow, because it couldn't scale, but the Kadena could scale, and that opened a whole lot of possibilities for the whole crypto community and all sorts of business. And then I evolved that by thinking, I am also an artist, because I went to school and made some art. I gone in photography classes. I've also done some manipulation in Photoshop and all stuff like that. And I've been thinking, how can I sell this? How can I awake people's feelings? Make the art speak for itself and awake something inside the buyer, so to say. And then I came across these NFTs, and I thought this was a bit hard to understand at first. I didn't believe in NFTs, but it got sorted out also under a long time. And then last year, could say in June, I started to start with my friend here, Ola Bero, about these NFTs, and if I should explore more of this NFT world and how the way should go. And yeah, sure, you should try that. And I searched for more information about it, and I started creating first some abstract art. I thought that would be a good start. But when I started this abstract art, I um, I didn't got this feeling I was talking about earlier. So I say, hey, wait a minute. Now I'm working on the wrong way here, because if I can't feel anything about my own art, how can other feel about it? I need first have the feeling about it, then the others can have a feeling about it. So I had another dream also about this. When it was about an elephant, and I should follow the elephant. And now I've followed the elephant in all sorts of AMAs. Their person have talked about the elephant, and then I understood. Okay, I'm gonna follow this elephant because someone named the elephant. So okay, I'll go with it. So then the Docker Shield started, and then they made a side project called Mintit, and I got there.
That's a great little story. It's really cool to hear that, something almost from beyond pushed you towards finding your way into Kadena, which is, like you said, it's a very interesting story for sure. But like you said, at first you were one of the many people, like, people that believe in crypto and even know about crypto are the minority in the world. We're like, it's like one, maybe up to, I'd guess, at the most 2-3% of the entire world even know what Bitcoin is or have heard about crypto, besides, the general flashes and the news you hear about it being a scam and about people losing all their money and it being a big Ponzi scheme or whatever. But then when you actually look at the tech and realize, okay, there's a lot more to this. It sounds like you as well kind of came around and realized that it's not the Ponzi scheme and scam that it's always made out to be in the press, and that there's something to it. So it's really cool. Like I said, I always find people's stories really interesting. And it sounds like you've just kind of been following this path, and it's leading you down this path towards NFT art creation. So let's talk now a little bit about your collections themselves. You started off, like you said, you found Mintit, which was allowing you to be able to mint your art into NFTs. And you first started with a Halloween collection. Let's talk a little bit about the inspiration. Was the Halloween collection more something like you knew you wanted to start with this? What came for the inspiration between that collection?
Yeah, that's a little bit funny. I actually was trying to sell the abstract art first, but then I just got tilt and shift. So I shift the total collection into the Halloween collection, because it's started to getting closer and closer to Halloween. So hey, why not do a Halloween collection? So I started to create some Halloween art, and at first I presented this for my closest friends and my family to see what they liked about this Halloween. I didn't want to do too much Halloween, too horror, too surreal. So I just had it quite clean. Uh, how should I say this? A little bit cozy, little scary, but something something when you looked at these pictures, when the release comes, you you the picture, the NFT should talk to you, and often that speaks for itself. It's the eye of the beholders. So I didn't name these because I don't like to name picture NFTs. I like to actually uh, want the buyer to name it and uh, and create a story for itself. So when I sold these NFTs, I try to interact with the people who bought this, and I thanked them, and they got back to me by their wallet key. And I just asked them a question like, "Oh, where that does that pumpkin do there?" And they just told me what the pumpkin do there, and they tell their story about the picture. So I have my own story, but everyone has a story of its own. So that's how the Halloween collection went.
Yeah, it's very much, it's the way of art. Art is in the eye of the beholder, and everyone's going to look at a picture and see something different, feel like come up with a different story about what they feel is happening in the picture or why the picture came to be. So, yeah, and with your art being very abstract, that seems to really push people to come up with these very different stories, because some people will focus on one aspect and some people will focus on a completely different aspect, which will then drive their narratives. So it's very cool to see. Now, when you gave a little bit of information at the start about finding the art and wanting it to be abstract, but can you talk more about how, because there is kind of a style across all the collections I found, of kind of a same style and same kind of theme. Can you talk a little bit about your inspiration behind the art style itself?
Yeah, of course. The style I chose or change is that I love the mystics in life itself. I have always been wondering about life. Been wondering about psychology and how people works, how they act, and stuff like that. Um, and then I thought, okay, I'm gonna translate in my head here from Swedish to English here. Wait a minute. Yeah, I wanted to. We live our lives where we all have feelings, emotions. Whether we are happy, angry, sad, or we get an emotion that you cannot describe. How can you? How can we get this out? Yeah, through art. And I, I would like to have this mystic thing about it. And I want to have it kind of dark, but I also want to have it quite light. And I like the colors, but I don't want the colors to take over. If you have the colors to take over, you have to have a balance of the dark. So it's like a yin yang, or you could say it's like a Star Wars thing also. So uh, I don't know what more to say about that.
No, that totally makes sense. It's a fine balance between leaving it up to interpretation and then pushing it right in someone's face, like you said, with over exuberant coloring or things like that. And I think that what you're explaining is very relevant in your next set of collections, I guess, because it's kind of a three-part collection of the Limbo creatures. Now, looking at these, I feel these are my favorite because they're all just so unique and so genuine. And like you said, going back to naming them, how you don't want to name them because it's almost like, when someone has a child, like you're going to name a child what you feel is the proper name for that child. And when people see their piece of artwork, they're going to be able to say, oh, that's this kind of monster, or his name is this or something, because just that's what their mind gets from the picture, and they're putting their own emotions and their own feelings and their own stories to them. So let's talk about the creatures themselves. Where did the inspiration come for them? Because they're all very cool and very unique, but kind of all share like a similar thing. Like they could all be from a one planet kind of idea.
Yeah. The original idea came up from a game that was is called Limbo. It's a black figure walking around in Limbo, the place between the dead and the living. And it got this charm. It's having some traps. You're walking around. You're looking for your sister, and you don't know where she is because I don't know. I am dead from the car accident. Uh, and I thought, hey, I want to do a monster limbo. And the thing about this monster limbo art is, uh, even if you're a monster, you have feelings, right? And you can also be cute. You can be funny. And somewhere in this art, I have put down some you can call people or a female or a man, uh, hardly noticeable in these pictures. Uh, and I'm thinking these people are taking care of these monsters because everybody needs a friend, everybody needs a family of some sort. So uh, that's why I like these monsters. And when I created this, I had a lot of fun. I had a whole uh, very good laughs at them. I smiled. I even cried a little bit when I saw some monster because they looked so sad.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of emotion in them when you look at the artwork and you look at the different ones. Like some are big smiling faces, some kind of have like down, kind of sad looks on their faces. Some are just kind of stoic and just kind of standing there, and you can't really tell if they're some like what there's one like number 11 on the bronze creatures that kind of looks like a little baby fetus with eyes and glowing eyes and stuff. So it's very interesting what comes out of this. Now, since this is a three-part collection, is there any difference between the three, or was it just you wanted to space them out over different collections?
Uh, from the beginning, it was actually a thought behind it, but I kind of failed about it. But it was supposed to be gold should be gold monster, silver should be silver, and bronze is bronze. But then I mixed up the pictures, so that was a battle from me. But gold is always a gold monster, so I thought, yeah, you have a gold monster is always better than silver and bronze. So I kind of felt it worked anyway.
Now, when it comes to just learning that these monsters, because I know exactly what game you're speaking of. I've played Limbo and thrown my controller at my TV screen trying to beat some of those levels. It was such a hard and brutal game. But when you actually learn the story behind the game, it's really kind of endearing and sweet when you learn that, it's just this little kid who, him and his sister die in this car wreck. And it's just them. He's trying to get his sister so that they can kind of move on, and the monsters that he meets along the ways in these levels, you can kind of see the definite inspiration in the art for sure. It really ties everything together. And one thing I want to say about these collections that you have is that they're low supply. There's not a lot of them. Like, for example, there's only 15 of the gold ones, 25 of the bronze, and 48 of or 25 of the silver and 48 of the bronze. But you're not all your all your collections are not like, you're not trying to get like 20 KDA for each one or anything like that. You've kept them all very reasonably priced for what I consider, when you look at the different art out there on NFTs, and I'm just talking about art. I'm not talking about like, the KMC ones that you get mining profits from and things like that. I'm talking for a pure technical artist standpoint. These are very top notch, I feel, when it comes to the NFT world. And just the fact that you could have grabbed one for like 5 KDA is very reasonable to me. That's like buying a postcard at the store, like things like that. And it's definitely worth it for people. Like I love art, and I've been lucky enough to collect a few pieces of actual artwork, but just for someone that wants to get into this and keep it in this kind of realm, I feel like these have been a great starting points for a lot of people. Now, just my 2 cents on the whole collections. Now, one last collection you just put out was the Christmas collection.
Yeah.
Was now obviously there seems to be some kind of issues going on with Mint It right now, and the NFT reveal is kind of being pushed. Um, is there any, have you been in talks with them at all, or has there been any ways of that you could possibly go around getting these reveals to people?
That's a little. That's the problem. I have had a little contact with one from the Minted, and the information, or what would you say? Nobody have any luck to get in contact with Dockershield and not and Minted. So on the last AMA, they talked about a lot of things, and I was also there to speak with them at the end of the AMA, because I want some answers. And it seems like they're going down, working on low speed. But in my ears, it sounds like it can take quite a while before it's even going to work again. And as I thought on that AMA, they should get this reveal going again. But now it I've done a couple of days, so I don't know what's going on. Unfortunately.
I had some thoughts on that, and that would be if you could somehow get, because what you need is the metadata for the NFTs and then the art itself that's being hosted. And that could easily be extrapolated by one of their devs, I feel. And at that point, I am 100% certain some community members would step forward for a way to get this done. That's one good thing about the Kadena community I found, is that a lot of the projects are very willing to help each other out and lend their helping hands to people. So hopefully in the coming little while here, I'm hoping that something does happen in that way. Either the people over at Mint It and them start pushing, or at least finalize some of the collections they already have, and just kind of at least get it to that point. That it would be a great place to move forward. Now, let's just say maybe some of this stuff doesn't happen. What are you moving forward? Are you planning on releasing more collections? Like, do you have more art in the pipeline? If so, are you looking to possibly go to like an arcade or a Babina? A Babina might be good because of the fact that it's an art kind of thing as well. So have you been in talks with anyone else like that?
First, I want to say that about the latest collection, the winter collection, Christmas collection, is that if not this is start in a couple of months, I'm gonna repay everyone in that collection because it has not revealed. So I just want to have that out. And I have also been reaching out, try to speak with Babena, Arcade, but I haven't heard anything from them. But today I got in contact with Hypercent, so they should they, they they should take a look at my art and get back to me. So hopefully, maybe I'm back at some other platform until Minted is repaired or something like that.
Yeah, there's that's one thing I will say though about the community is that you can definitely reach out to some of the existing projects and just like jump in their Discord possibly and just be like, hey, could really use a hand over here. This is the situation I'm in, and
Mm.
possibly like I feel like there in some of the other ecosystems there are people who have come forward and said like, oh, we can build a like if you want to do a mint yourself hosted on your own website, we could help you set that up. And that I kind of feel like that might be a good way for people to maybe just kind of jump over some of these hurdles until we get some finalization on both NFT standards and all of that kind of stuff. Because right now everything's kind of in limbo. There's like different NFT standards on each different marketplace, and it makes it kind of just for artists and for people who just want to put their art out there. Makes it kind of difficult for them. And one kind of sad thing, if things don't get finalized with Minted, is that was a great platform for that exact reason, that people who are artists and not developers could go to them and get their art out there, because art moving into the future is going to be a lot more digital, and this is kind of a first step into that realm. So you go from an artist who used to draw like I said, postcard sized pictures, which pretty much what NFTs are really when you think about it. You could print them out onto huge canvases if you like, but most people are going to be looking at them on their phone, so they're not going to be like huge pieces of art anymore. That's mostly on someone's phone. So it's just more of a, we have to find a good realm for everyone to be able to work together, and be it on their own or be it through a platform like Minted or some of the other platforms like Hypercent, you said, talking out to you. There's lots of different options, and just hopefully everyone can figure out and come together and help each other get into this. So I'm looking forward to any more collections you have, that's for sure. And is there any kind of sneak peeks you can get to maybe a theme for what the next collection is about, or like a Valentine's Day? Because you kind of seem to be going on like a holiday type theme.
Yeah, I have a Valentine's Day collection. I have something about you can say old people, like grannies and grandpas, doing things they ordinarily don't do or do. So that could be quite fun. And I'm also that's about the Christmas collection. Was I have hidden something in that collection. So my thing is to make something extra out of these collections. It's not just art. You gain something from the art as well. I thought about that on this Limbo collection, but I didn't have all the facts and all the technical stuff to make that happen. And the Christmas collection was this supposed to see if it actually worked. So I had a plan uh, for how it should go, and if it did not go as uh, I don't find the word. If it did go as it should, I had a plan B for it too. So it would be gained for with a little hint from my Twitter.
So would that, if you're going to be continuing with these plans, is there anything to do with the fact that there's the three different levels of the Limbo creatures? Would that maybe play a role in future collections? Because a lot of people wonder, like, oh, like for example, with Arcade, if you have one of their 80s bulls, you get whitelist to a lot of other projects and stuff that mint on their platform, things like that. Is there any kind of bonuses, for example, of someone who owns a bunch of the gold creatures, or like you said, people you tried to work this with the Christmas collection, so you could always go back and retro retro your old collections into something else by just creating some kind of utility for future collections.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Actually, it was Olabear's idea how we could do that. So that's something we are planning and thinking of.
For sure, because it brings more of your community in, and it also will make people go back and want to either finish, like, because there's still a couple of bronze creatures remaining. The silvers and the golds are sold out, but people could go back and go, oh, if he's going to be putting out more collections in the future, and I could get possibly like some kind of perks for owning one of his previous collections, then I'm going to go back and get one of them, and just so I can save in the long run. Because a lot of people realize that it's the more you build a community, the more that community talks about you to their friends and about on their social medias and stuff, is that can really be what spreads the fire and gets people interested in continuing to follow your project.
Yeah, of course. It's a very good idea, and that is something we have talked about, and we are going to do. So absolutely, something more will come about these limbo creatures. It's not a closed chapter, so to say. It's something that will evolve because limbo is always a limbo place, so everything can happen there. It's a constant motion and change in landscape creatures, and what more can be added to the limbo place.
Exactly. It's a world where anything can happen and anything can live there, anything can reside and go through that. And if you look at it more on a philosophical level, we all pass through it at some point. After you pass through this life, you go into your limbo life, and from there you go into your final resting place or whatever it may be. There's that common thought is kind of permeated throughout, I think, almost everybody now. And to put some kind of art form behind that, I think, is really awesome and really special. And you're doing it in a very cool, abstract kind of way, which is unique on itself. Like I said, I've been in multiple different ecosystems for NFTs now, and this kind of art usually it doesn't it doesn't get picked up on the craziness, like just drawing another 8 picture. Like that seems to be what people seem to think is the great thing about NFTs right now. But I think in the future, it's going to be the projects where it's more art oriented, and actually people, like, I would much rather show off one of these limbo creatures in my wallet than some cartoon picture of a monkey. It just it's I just feel like a lot of these art focused, more art driven projects just don't get the recognition they deserve, because there's a lot of thought and a lot of process that goes into these, and they're all different. They're not all just one basic body with a bunch of different layers on it. They have depth to them. They have personality built into them. So it's really cool to see that people can, like I said, get these and build their own stories around them, build their own attachments to them, and it really kind of can drive a community. Now, speaking on community, if you're wanting to move forward and have some kind of narration that goes between all your projects, are you open to, like, maybe possibly starting like a Discord server or a Telegram chat or somewhere where your community can talk to each other and maybe like share the stories about their NFTs that they've come up with?
Yes, we have a Telegram server, and we have a Discord channel. So everyone that have bought an NFT, I'm happy to have them there and tell them about their story about the Limbo creatures or the Halloween collection.
Have you had a lot of people tell very interesting stories? Like, have people, like I said, have they come in and been like, oh, I made up this story about my creature and like told it to the community? If so, I would love to hear like kind of just a synopsis of maybe one or two of the ideas and people that have come up with this. Like I see like some people are mostly mostly you posting art in your chat and things like that. And but you do have a fairly active community in there. There are lots of people who have minted them. So I got to imagine that there's been some really cool stories that have stuck in your head that you've been like, wow, that's really awesome.
Yeah, of course. Um, we could take this. Should see here. We got this NFT from the Browns collection, number 9. There's a guy with a big eye, looking kind of crazy, and they had a little story about that creature hanging above his head there. So, hey, look at me. I'm above your head. What are you down there? Oh, I'm just a bright eye down here, and I'm looking at you, boy. Something like that. There are different stories from each of any of these NFTs. We got this collection from another one. I think it's from the silver collection. You got the two guys, like they having a party down the rocks, and going ooga chaka, we got this dance, ooga chaka, yeah, come on, like so. They're making up stories and making up stuff about these pictures, and there's a it makes me happy. It makes me laugh because they have a totally other story than I have about the pictures. Some of them are in the chats, and some of them are private to me because they don't want to share their story because they maybe think they are silly. But I say, hey, it's not silly. Go out and tell your story. It's about your feelings. It's about your story. Tell them.
Yeah, it's there's got to be more stories out there because, like I said, these creatures and stuff are very interactive and very like there's multiple creatures in a lot of the different pictures as well. So there definitely things are going to pop into your mind. I can think of stories just by looking at a few of them, scrolling through on the website, and it's just like it's crazy to think that so many different people can have so many different perspectives, but that's really what makes art special and makes people so special, is that our brains all work in different ways. We all see and imagine things in different ways, and different art will bring that out of different people. So I absolutely have been loving ever since I saw like the first collections come up and saw like especially these limbo creatures. I'd always admired the art and thought that it was very well done and very well placed. Now, just thinking moving forward after these collections and things like that, have you ever thought of trying, like, do you ever think of going back to the physical world and like doing art shows like Kadena Lifestyles does art shows of his clown work that he's doing for his NFT series? Have you ever thought of like, holding an NFT kind of art show?
I don't. I don't need. I don't understand what you say by that.
Well, like some people, like wherever, like you say you're Swedish, so I'm just guessing that you're possibly in Sweden, of holding like an art, because like a lot of artists have like digital galleries now, because your art is very much like something I could see that you could do a show out of and have people walk through a physical place and be like, wow, like look at these pictures, be it that they're just digital and not physical pictures that they can touch, just to get it out there and get more interest in the art and in the project. Have you ever looked into maybe going back and merging your original physical art world with your new NFT digital world?
It's real funny that you say that because I just thought about that last week. I was watching a couple of Twitter followers that are doing NFTs in a physical world in the basement and showing off their NFTs and invited people to come and look there and make a real sale of that NFT while they are buying it from they are buying it at the store or the basement, so say, and then they buy the actual NFT digital. Then they have a digital holding a license for that or a code or key, and they got the art physical in uh, different what is that called? Different size of the pictures.
Yeah, that's always been another way that people have always thought about utilizing NFTs is using them as a certificate of authenticity in a way for a piece of art. So that when you buy the art, you buy the physical art, but you also get the NFT version, which proves that you own the physical version in a sense. So
Yeah,
it's
right.
very yeah, it's very interesting to see that, just how many different ways that artists could utilize this technology to not only just promote themselves and promote their art, but to also secure their art and be able to, because like when people when one thing that comes with collectibles and things like that, usually you need that proof of authenticity, something to prove that this thing is real, like for example like an autographed baseball or something like that, a picture of the guy signing it with you as a little kid, to prove that, this is a real thing. People like having that kind of authenticity. So, especially when it comes to art nowadays and with something being digital, like that was always the story of against NFTs to begin with was, well, I could just, right click and save your image. And now I own that NFT. And it's like, well, no, it's not the same. People don't understand that it's a lot more than just a picture. There's
Yeah, of course.
something behind the picture. So it's just another great way of utilizing the technology for the better of everyone. So awesome to hear, though, that you're still continuing to work. You're still pushing forward. You have lots of other collections in mind. This old person one that really interests me. I think that would be very cool to see because um, I'm kind of along the lines of, I don't want to say like a anarchist or anything, but I kind of like taking things that shouldn't be, and like you say, taking elderly people and putting them in situations that they shouldn't be in, or like that they, but being that it's art, you can do stuff like that. You can put them in absurd things and absurd scenarios and stuff, and it'll just be another example of people will see that and come up with their own story of why is that person there, why are they doing that, and the stories that I think people could build out of that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I like when people are doing crazy stuff that they shouldn't do. So that's just ironic and totally funny.
It pushes people to be creative and create their own narratives, and it just pushes the lines of art and what people can do. And it's great to see that there's still people out there that are thinking this way and utilizing NFTs. So I'm really excited that I've been able to talk with you and learn about these NFTs, because like I said, I've always loved the art. When I first saw them, I always thought, well, these are very unique, these are very well done, very like high, like they're very well done. They're just, stunning to the eye, some of them to see. And they're like nice, high resolution looking. They're not, any kind of pixelation. They're very well, like the backgrounds are all very nice. And some of the details on some of them are absolutely amazing. So I can't wait to see what comes out of in the future for you guys. I can't wait to see what new creations come out of you, and hopefully we can figure out a good way to tie up some loose ends with the old collections and just move forward and everyone be happy. And I can't wait. Yeah, it should be really awesome. I've been really excited to talk to you guys today.
Yeah, and it has been very cool to talk to you too. This is very new for me, and I was kind of nervous today, but it was okay, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
No need to be nervous. You did great. It's anyone that is willing to step up to the mic and speak in these kind of situations. Like, trust me, man, when I first started doing this, I was super nervous. Every time I hit that start space button, I'd feel it in my gut. But the more you get out there, the more you talk to people and the more you do it, it just gets a lot more relaxed. And I always try to keep things light. I try not to keep things just kind of like we're just two people sitting here talking about something. I try not to make it so much that I'm here to interview you, but I'm more here just to speak to you, to learn, and we can all just talk to each other as human beings and learn about stuff. And I'm here I want to learn about your project, and that's just kind of the way I go. I try not to keep it light and keep it hearted, and just have a fun time. So as long as you keep going out there, keep doing this, I'm sure you'll get the hang of it and really start to enjoy it like I do.
Yeah, I hope so. And this was really fun. And I learned something today too. And you have questioned me about the questions I have thought about and not have thought about. So you got my brain going now.
See, there's no reason that we can not just learn from each other and help each other out. And like I said, if you guys need any more help, I would love to do this again. Maybe a month or two down the road from now, if you've made progress and you're ready to talk anything more about any new collections, just feel free to definitely hit us up and let us know. We'd be more than welcome to have you back. That's for sure.
Yeah, we will definitely do that. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and listening. It's been an absolutely amazing talk with Tilt Shift. If you haven't checked them out, click on their profile, join their Discord, join their Telegram, and stay tuned, and definitely check out their art, because it is some very amazing and well done art. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow us on all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure to keep up to date on everything KDA related. You can find all the links in the description below. Take care.